So we're on site of one of our projects today, and we want to talk about air control and water control layers. So what we're doing to establish these air and water control layers is we're using the zip system. Now you've probably seen the infamous green board all around wherever construction's at. It's a pretty common product that's being used. However, I don't feel like it's being used to its full extent. So we're obviously using this on the wall, but what we're also doing is we're carrying this up across the soffit. We're taping that seam in the corner, and then as it comes across the soffit, it's meeting that subfascia board. We're then taping it to the subfascia board, and then we have a zip system roof on this house. So from the top of that subfascia board, we're then carrying that tape onto the roof. So what we're also doing is we're making sure that we're rolling every bit of this tape. And for the zip system to work properly, we really need to make sure that tape's rolled so that it wets that acrylic tape into the substrate so that we can have a well-established air and water control layer. So something else that we're doing that's a little bit different is we're flashing out our rough opening. We're using, again, zip system products, so we're using the 6-inch zip stretch tape. We're using the regular zip system tape on the sides and the top. That stretch tape's allowing us to get into the corner. It's fully covering that seal pan, so it's a really robust seal pan. And then we're making sure that we're shingling that down, right? So that top layer is the outermost layer, so that if water continues to run down the side of this, it's not going to cause a fish mouth or penetrate behind that tape. It's simply going to continue to roll down the plane and drain away from the building like it should. So along with those zip products, we're also closing any and all of our penetrations up with a stretch tape, right? So we've got this this frost-free hose bib right here that we've done a stretch tape detail on, right? So again, we're getting a good water and control layer on that. But something that we're also doing is a little bit easier to see on the inside here, is we're using Lexel, which is a product made by Sashco. So instead of using a traditional seal sealer, foam seal sealer, we're coating the bottom of this 2x4 in Lexel. And you can see that we've got a little bit of squeeze out on the bottom of this 2x4, so we know that we've got good, consistent contact throughout that whole seal plate. We're also putting it in the corner of the zip system sheathing and that seal plate on the bottom, on the back side here. So we've got 2 points of contact on with that Lexel. And what that's doing is completely sealing in that base plate with the sheathing, right? So we're controlling dust coming in, bugs coming in, air leaking in, and any kind of water penetrations, right? It's forcing that outside the house. If you look here back again at our rough openings that we've got going, so that we can continue that air control layer, this zip sheathing is the air control layer, so is this tape. So in order for us to detail that correctly and continue that air control layer, when we insert this window and we screw the flangers onto the outside, we're going to have a gap here that's usually filled with spray foam. And spray foam has a great purpose in a lot of areas. It's a great insulator. It's commonly used as the air sealing detail, and I like to think of it more of an addition to and not the actual air sealing detail. But in this case, we're going to use a foam backer rod that's inserted into that window, and then we're going to go back again with Lexel, so that now our air control layer comes from that zip around the tape. That Lexel is a continuation of that air control layer, and then it comes back out to that window across the glass. So it's a really defined air control layer. Now, we're talking about air and water control layers. Why is that so important? Well, obviously water. You've got to keep that out of the house. It's the #1 killer of buildings, right? So we want to keep water from coming in the house and directed away from the house. But air, why is that important? Well, we want to control the air and how it comes into the house. We don't want the air just to be able to come through the walls. When it comes through the walls, it brings other things with it. It brings dirt, it brings bugs, it brings pollution, it brings cold air, it brings hot air, right? So these things look like it's reducing their comfort, it's reducing the longevity of the home, it's reducing the performance and the energy of the home. So by controlling those, we're making the home a whole lot more comfortable to live in, a whole lot more durable, and a lot less maintenance in the future. We do have our mechanicals coming in, right? So plumbing, electrical, HVAC. We'll have some pretty cool things that we want to show you on those rough ends. We'll have insulation to follow behind that. We have done a few things a little bit differently on this house as far as those go, and we're excited to tell you about them, so stay tuned.